This right here is my old childhood Armada Unicron. After all this time, he's still fairly complete. He's missing some missiles, and I don't have his Minicon buddy with him, but overall, he's pretty much all there. His horn has gone black a little bit somehow. That's concerning. I don't know how that happened, but I've always loved this Unicron. It's really cool, really imposing. I mean, it's a massive Supreme class figure, and this is what we got for $50 back in the mid-2000s. This was a $50 toy, and now $50 is something like Legacy Skyquake. I'm sorry, I'm still hung up over that. But as much as I love this Unicron, my main Transformers collection is Transformers Classics, Transformers Generation, stuff like that. And HasLab did that massive Unicron, but it wasn't even that massive. It was only like half a head taller than like the largest Titan class, and it was like nearly 4 times the price, and it just wasn't impressing me, and it was just, it priced itself out of my league. I couldn't do it. I do not own the HasLab Unicron. However, I still really wanted a G1 Unicron, and I was hoping that the HasLab and its existence would reduce the price of other Unicrons. Like, you know, the Hasbro Platinum or the Transformers 2010 version, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But it seemed that the prices on those also went up. However, I went to the toy department recently in Fairfield, Ohio. If you know that place, you know, it's great. I go there all the time. And there, it was missing 2 missiles. But I don't care. For only $120, they had the TF 2010 G1 retool repaint of Armada Unicron. This is the Takara Tomy Transformers 2010 version. It's got all like the black wash, and it's super cool looking. It's got the new head. It still comes with Bug. I do have Bug, so I do have this mold again, which is really cute, really adorable. This one didn't get lost. Unicron was actually my brother's, one of his only Transformers toys, and he got a nicer Unicron at some point, but his didn't come with a little Bug, so I gave him our childhood one so he could have his complete, and because I wasn't too worried about having the Minicon with that, because I've got the beat up incomplete you know childhood one. But the fact that I finally have this is very, very cool and makes me very happy. This is the Unicron I've wanted. The Platinum Edition one's cool, but I wasn't the biggest fan of like the metallics. I just love the panel lining, makes it feel cell shaded. I love the grays and the stark oranges. This, to me, just feels like Unicron from the original 1986 movie. Now, granted, not 100% accurate, because it is a retool and repaint of the Armada one. It's not going to be 100% accurate, but who cares? He still has the big old wings on his back, which are really cool. He's got the big old, you know, planet wing rings. He does have extra horns on his, you know, shoulders, but I'm not too worried about that. You know, it's still Unicron. You look at this, and you just hear Orson Welles' voice. And you look at this, and you just think of Transformers Armada. I just don't see G1 Unicron out of this. But I love them both. They're both absolutely staying in my collection. I adore them. This one will stay as a planet, and this one will definitely be towering over my Rodimus and Galvatron and all them. I love them. I love them. They're really cool. One thing I do want to show, though, before I show off either of these guys in more detail, I need to remove them because... remember how I said my brother got a new Unicron, but his was like missing the little Minicon? Well, when my brother got his, it actually came with the original Transformers Energon box. This huge, massive box. And my brother was about to throw this away, and I was going to throw it away too, and I actually still think I will, but I wanted to memorialize it in this video. And for those that grew up with Energon, I wanted to give you guys a bit of a nostalgia blast. So there's Unicron right there, looking super cool, and a little more black than you would typically expect. And you may be thinking, why is it like that? Because this is the Energon repaint. Apparently, in this Energon box, you could either get, there's a Fatty Boom Boom Prime, I do have him, and I actually also have him. There's a cool bio there. I'm definitely going to take some like nicer pictures of this thing. But yeah, you could get this really cool like black repaint. Either this or the original Armada colors. And obviously my brother got the Armada colors, but this deco is really, really cool. Might track it down someday. Who knows? It's a really nice deco. It's really cool. And here's the other side of it, showing off some of the features. So you can attach Minicons to activate a few gimmicks. He's called Dead End there. I don't remember if it's called Dead End in Armada. I know the TF 2010 version is called Bug. You can see he's got 3 little missiles there. His fist lights up. He's got storage for Minicons there, and his eyes light up. It's kind of surprising. I expected like lights and sounds with a toy like Unicron, but no, he just has the lights. One super funny thing though, look at this. Look at this up here. So, like I mentioned earlier on, he retailed for $50, and wherever this came from, it went down to $30, then it went all the way down to $15. I don't know what that tag is. I don't know what store that is. Someone might be able to identify it. Might be like a TJ Maxx, Tuesday morning kind of, Big Lots kind of place. But I just think that's really funny. You could get a toy like Unicron for $15 back in the day. I think that's pretty cool. So bringing back in our Humongo boys. They're very large figures. I mean, they're Supreme class. They're larger than a modern Commander, but they're not really up to the size of a modern Titan. I would say they're similar in size to like maybe Titan class Predaking or Devastator. They might be around that height, but I still think it's a little shorter. It's still a massive toy. I mean, it's still humongous. Just because he's here he is with the Legacy Skids mold. So you can see, yeah, he's pretty big. I mean, he's going to look massive and imposing with, all the 1986 cast just around him. That's why I wanted it. And I was just kind of thinking for that purpose, he's either going to be big or bigger. I don't need the HasLab one. The HasLab one's ridiculous. And also, I've heard it's not a very fun toy. So, and this one's super fun. I love the funness of this toy. It's great. So let's, you kind of see some of the looks. This one has like a clear shell where it's got the missile on the chest and it's got some paint in there. And this one, they painted it to make it look more accurate to G1. But they still painted it in there and it still has the missile, which is really cool. I love the details on the shoulders. I'm so sorry about that black. I'm not sure if it's like scorching or if it's something more gross. It's an old toy. We've had it pretty much since it came out. It's funny, this was, I think, a birthday present to my brother. My mom actually remembers. I asked her about it. She remembers getting this for my brother, which is really cool. Because my brother got Unicron, and I got Primus. So it's like a really cool, he had one, I had the other. I would say I probably prefer the Primus toy in general, just because I'm very biased. Some people pop these off because they're like, oh, it gets in the way. They're like wings. But no, you can just tuck them in the back. I've noticed the hinges are tighter on my original one than on the TF 2010. Could be some mold degradation, that might be why. But yeah, just tuck it in the back. Looks fine. It doesn't stick out, too egregiously. You can spread the wings out, but they do, because they're so heavy, they do want to fold back in onto his back. You can see they're just kind of drooping. So you can arrange the wings a little more prominently, but keep in mind they're going to droop. The color, it's definitely far more like G1 on the TF 2010 version. I think this is such a cool release by Takara Tomy. Love, love, love it. I remember watching the TF Source video for this guy all the way back in the day. And I'm like, man, I've got my old unit, my Armada one, but I love just the color and that new head. Let's look at the heads. So the original Armada Unicron had a very intimidating noggin. That is a really cool head. I love the yellow and the orange, the grays and the blacks. It's a very cool head design. Super, super cool. But it's not G1. It's not the G1 Unicron. Very similar, very heavily inspired, but it's not G1. This is G1 Unicron. He's got the mustache. He's got the gray on the side. Unfortunately, they didn't continue the paint along the side of the head, which is very odd, kind of awkward. I would expect Takara to fully paint it, but it doesn't look that out of place or bad to me anyway. It's kind of whatever. He does have the same horns. I don't think they retooled the horn pieces. It's so cool looking. I love this new head sculpt. Both of them do have light up eyes, but I only have batteries in my TF 2010 version because I don't have tons of button cell batteries. Both of them light up red. They're both very, very cool. It's just such an awesome toy, man. I had to show both of these. I had to show them. I couldn't just talk about one. The clear armor is kind of cool on the original. Like the clear chest and the clear hip skirting, it's kind of cool. But I really prefer the G1 accurate gray. I think it just kind of, you know, brings it together a little bit more. I think the clear looks a little cheapy, a little toyish. Now, granted, both of them do have clear with the hands, because the hand, as you saw on the box for the Energon version, lights up. Now, granted, both of them are fully articulated. You can move the thumb, and each finger has 2 joints. So the fingers can vary, and it's on both hands too, the opaque and the clear. And again, I only have batteries in my 2010 version, but you see that's kind of like a button right there. You push down on the hand, and there's a light in there. It lights up. Now, granted, it doesn't illuminate the whole hand like I think they wanted it to. It's this kind of weird blinking light inside a clear hand. But still, for Unicron, like, one vision I have of Unicron is when he took his massive hand and just plopped it right on Cybertron and destroyed tons of stuff. I think the fact that we have a light in a hand is a pretty cool feature. I really like that. And again, you know, the other hand poses just the same, poses fine. Really cool. No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. You want me to do it, but I'm not. Yeah, they're really fun. From the waist down, you haven't been able to see a lot of that. Let's just lift them up, I guess. You can see this one has a lot of gray, which is pretty accurate. I love the big old feet on Armada Unicron. That's very intimidating for a massive god of death for the Transformers. It's really, really cool. And on the original version, there's a little bit more color. Some purples coming in. Almost looks like a slice of a fruit with the orange slices right there. Similar feet. It's really cool. You can flip the shins to shoot the missiles. And one thing, I did get a very good deal on this Unicron, but it was missing 2 missiles. So, because this is my main Unicron, I actually borrowed a couple yellow missiles from my old Cybertron one. I might put them back. I don't know. We'll see. Because I'm going to display the old, I call him Cybertron, Armada. I'll display him in the planet mode. So we'll see what I do. Because in the robot, you're not going to see... It doesn't matter. I'm not a missiles guy. I really don't care. He could have had no missiles and been $100, and I still would have bought it. So yeah, you can shoot those off. It does have, as you saw in the box, panels where you can open it up and store Minicons in his legs. This was a very Minicon heavy toy. You were supposed to display all your Minicons on this guy. Because like on the wings, there's Minicon port, Minicon. It's everywhere. He's covered in Minicon ports. He's got these cool like rotating tables on his shoulders. You probably saw that a little bit, where you can put Minicons and just kind of rotate it around. That's pretty cool. I typically like having Bug up there. But again, there's another storage option in the stomach. And, oh no, I popped the panel out. Yeah, you can see it's this big empty spot. You just put a Minicon in there. This is one piece. There was MIA on our childhood one for a while, but thankfully we were able to piece them pretty much all together. I actually just found the last piece he was missing the other day. He was missing one of these connector pieces. Like this piece right here. He was missing that to connect to the wing, to the shell, to the body. He was missing that piece. Thankfully, I have a big old tub of random toy parts in the basement where I couldn't identify what it was. And somehow it ended up in there, even though I should have known what it was. Alright, so I'll go over articulation in a minute, but I do have to show off good old little Minicon Bug. I got to. So again, you know, is his name Dead End? Is his name Bug? I don't know, I think Bug's a goofy name. I think Dead End's cooler. He's just like a moon. He's a moon with a big old cannon. He's kind of like a little Transformers Death Star. Because, I mean, Unicron's a planet, right? He's going to have some moons. Kind of wish I had more versions of this. I wouldn't mind. If anyone has the original, like, Dead End that goes with Armada Unicron, let me know. I wouldn't mind having because basically the main difference is, like, where it's orange on this, it's yellow on the Armada one. That's the biggest difference. Yeah, I've just always really enjoyed this guy. I feel like I played with this as a kid more than I played with Unicron. Because my brother wasn't as interested in this little guy. He was more interested in the Unicron. But then again, my brother was not big into Transformers like I was. Even then, I wasn't like the biggest Transformers kid. I didn't get into it until I was like an older kid. Like around like my tweens and early teens. That's when I really got into Transformers. But, you know, we just do some rotates, do some moves. And there we go. There's a little Bug. He's just this little spherical dude with a big old cannon on his arm. Typically, when I was a kid, I liked having the arms configured like this because I just think it looked a little Especially this one, so you could, like, articulate the cannon. But I think it's supposed to go like this. Yeah, he's just a cute little Minicon dude. I like the Minicons, but again, I've voiced it in the past. I'm not the biggest fan of tiny Transformers. The smallest I like going is, like, old Legion class. So it's a little... This is probably my favorite Minicon out of every Minicon. I've always loved this figure, but I'm not the biggest Minicon fan. I don't collect them. I've got a decent amount. I've probably got like 10 or 15, but I don't collect them, you know. All right, so let's go over the articulation on good old Unicron. So let's do it on the new one because I just think he looks better. The head can rotate, which is awesome. They didn't have to make it rotate, but they did. The shoulders are on universal joints, very nice and clicky. Swivel right there, hinge right there. You already saw all the range of motion in the hand. I don't need to show that again. It does have a waist swivel. I think that's for transformation. He does have hip skirts to move out of the way, front and side. And you get very nice clicky thighs. You get big old knees. He doesn't have a thigh swivel, unfortunately. He really is missing that, in my opinion. But where he doesn't have a thigh swivel, you do get a shin swivel, so that's something. And the ankles are on, like, multiple hinges, and you have a toe hinge, you have like a ankle hinge, and you do get a little bit of pivot, which is nice. I do appreciate the little bit of pivot. So yeah, the Unicron is very articulated. I don't know how to speak at all anymore. Yeah, it's really cool, really fun. I do have one last thing I need to show you in the robot mode, though. It's that chest cannon. I always thought it was really cool. But when I was a kid, I always struggled to know how to activate it. You plug in the Minicon in his back, and oh boy, I'm kind of scared because this is very powerful. Oh jeez, yeah. I feel like on our old one, it like comes out slower and then shoots, but my TF 2010 one, it just boom, it just goes out, which is cool, I guess. Yeah, the missile's like spring loaded and it kind of opens up. It looks very intimidating. Almost looks like its own little maw, you know. And then, yeah, there we go. There's that little gimmick. I'm actually curious. I don't remember if it's battery activated or just mechanical. I do want to try it on the Armada one. I want to see how this works. See if it works slowly or not. Let's see. Oh boy, I don't want to have it shoot off in my room and like hit my real grade Unicorn Gundam and have it smash on the floor. Here. There we go. It's kind of very slow. There we go. Yeah, you kind of see what I mean. It kind of did it more smoothly when we were younger, but nowadays, you know, since it is so old. Oh, it's missing a... I just realized it's missing a thing right there. That might be in the random part bin. You know, now that I'm looking, I think I might have seen it. Am I going to go downstairs after this and see if I can find that part? Maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow. It's late. I might wait. But I think I've got that piece somewhere. Yeah, I can hear there's like more of like a ratchet in there. See, I don't know if they stripped that out of this one, or maybe my copy of this is just, you know, doesn't work in that way, but I don't care. I don't care. I'm not worried about it. All right. Whew. Are we ready to transform these guys? I think we are. I'm going to transform one of them on camera, but I'm going to take the other one off camera to transform that one as well, because I'm going to keep this one in the planet mode. So I might as well do them both. Alrighty, so let's go ahead. Let's take the Armada one out and let us transform my fairly rare TF 2010 Unicron. Oh boy. Oh, my Armada one just fell. These guys don't stand up too well. They really don't. I don't know why. So yeah, this is kind of scary, but like his head unclips and just like folds back, which has always been a funny thing to me. I've always kind of been like, why does it do that? Oh boy, this is gonna kill me. It's just so big. And it's like, the thing is the whatchamacallit, the HasLab one is even bigger. Like, transforming that would be a workout. Like a genuine workout. I've seen people do it in videos. It is a workout transforming that. It's just too big for its own good. The way I see it, Unicron's never going to be in scale. So why try? Why try to make him in scale? What are you trying to accomplish? Okay. It's kind of interesting. I didn't know that those shifted until I got a little more personal with the toy. So I think we don't need to rotate the waist for the transformation. That just goes down. And then these pieces are gonna, the stomach kind of gets covered up by the arms. Alright. It's a fairly easy transformation. These big Supreme guys were never too complex. But still, it's just so big, so clicky. And especially with Unicron, where he has these wings and he has these shells, things do start kind of getting in the way. So like with the shells, it's kind of difficult to maneuver these to get them where they need to be. But it's doable. It's absolutely doable. You can see I just did it. But you saw like all that rotation. You know, it's not a walk in the park. You kind of gotta finesse it. One awesome thing, I'm super happy. I actually rewatched the TF Source video I mentioned early on, just to kind of make sure I was doing things right. Apparently, Takara had a QC issue where like the teeth were just the same part mirrored, and they wouldn't close in on each other. It would like, you know, hit the tips of each other. So I'm very happy. I didn't even look at it when I bought it. I'm very happy mine is not one with that QC problem. Very happy. Alright, so pretty much the last stuff we have to do is with the legs. Let's move the big old wings out of the way. We're going to take the leg, rotate it like this, rotate the tip of the toe, bring the foot down. It's a pretty easy transformation. Ooh, this piece always comes off. It always comes off the side panel. Oh man, so irritating. I mean, that's just what happens with some of these toys, because you can see it's just a little, like a friction clip. They should have pinned it, honestly. Because that's a piece that was missing on our childhood one for a while. And again, I'm very happy that mine isn't missing anything besides little missiles. Because I'm more bugged if something's missing like a physical piece that like actually impacts how the thing looks than something like a missile. I'm like, missile, whatever. I keep a lot of missiles off the toys, you know. I'm not worried if it's missing one. You know what? Let's not worry about that. Let's not worry about that, because that's just going to fall off again. And it's already kind of... We're already in motion. We're already getting this transformed. Alright. So we'll rotate this foot. God, it's just so big. I'm going to have such a nicer time doing the Armada one, because it's off camera. It's like I'm having to hold this out at like half arm's length. And it's not a light toy. It's not light. It's pretty heavy. It's kind of wearing me down. Alright, so then we're going to make sure the hips are all the way up, and essentially this just closes up, and hips all the way up, close this up, but we don't need to fully tab it in all the way, not yet, because there's a couple holes in there. We're going to need that for the wings. Oh boy, oh boy. Ugh. Give me a second to tidy things up. Alright, and then one of the last things we have to do is take the planet rings, and we need to make sure they're configured where this like slit part goes up top and the more complete piece goes on the bottom. And we're going to connect those together, and we're going to make sure they're fed into the holes. And I really need this close to my body to finish it, so give me another moment. And alrighty, after we get that wedged between the feet and give up on trying to get those little tiny ports right there and that, here is TF 2010 Unicron in his planet mode. And I must say, that is very impressive. That is very, very cool. You do get a little spot up there for Bug. I'm going to go ahead and put him in during the pause while I transform the Armada one. Give me a moment. Phew. Alright, so being able to take a little bit more time with this one off camera. I think the reason why that's not tabbing in is because I don't have the legs fully tabbed in there, because that's more properly aligned in there. Let's not worry about that. I do wish I had the dead end Minicon to fill that little hole right there for the Armada one. But I gotta say, seeing these two massive Unicron planets together, both of them with working big old maws that are capable of devouring other worlds, it's really cool. I do wish I had the Minicon. So if anyone watching this does have the Minicon, or any missiles, or maybe a horn that's not black, let me know. Let me know. I wouldn't mind restoring this one even further, because I love both of these. But I gotta say, I'm very happy to have the TF2010 version. It really, I feel like once I have it with my collection, it's, I mean, come on, look at it, it's Unicron. Yeah, I can see in there, I don't have the legs fully tabbed in, it's okay. That's what happens when you're trying to transform something like this on camera, right? This figure does definitely have some visible robot syndrome. I mean, the feet are kind of hanging down there, but I think those are disguised as, like, you know, shapes of the planet pretty well. I mean, it's, oop, there goes Dead End, or Bug, or whatever you want to call them. Yeah, it's kind of funny, you know, their butts are just kind of showing out the rear end, but the way I see it, man, it's a giant robot that turns into a ball. You know, how the HasLab one did it, it has so much shell hanging off that I think the fact that this just has two big shell pieces that are nicely tucked away on the back, I think this one kind of pulls it off a little better. I love how they do the ring on this one. I think the ring is super cool. I do wish I had display bases. I do, but I'm sure I could work something out. Because, I mean, this one will be displayed in the robot mode, but I want this. I want this like this. For not the entirety rest of its life, but, you know, for most of the time, this one's going to stay as the planet. Because we always remember, my brother and I always remember this big old ball with the teeth on it. You know, because we didn't fully understand who it was when we got it. We weren't Transformers fans. We understood that Unicron was a planet and that Primus was a planet. We understood that Primus was their homeworld. But we didn't really know the character of Unicron. We knew that they were like brothers, and one was evil, one was good, but we didn't know the lore. We didn't know, you know, Orson Welles' Unicron from 1986. We didn't even really watch Armada. We knew Unicron from his remnants and little nods and things in the Cybertron show. That's where we knew Unicron. I wish I had that Cybertron Unicron head. And another thing, if anyone has that Cybertron Unicron head that came with certain Primuses, let me know, because my Primus growing up didn't come with that Unicron head. That would be cool to have. Alrighty, enough begging for people to sell me things online. I think I have concluded my video on a Unicron. I had to do it. The raw footage of this video is 40 minutes. So I'm going to be doing some editing. It's still going to be a long video, but 40 minutes. This was a beast of a video, and I mean, these are beasts of a toy. In my opinion, if you want a Unicron in your collection, track down either the TF2010 version from Takara or like the Platinum Edition ones. Don't even worry about the HasLab one. Of course, I don't have the HasLab one. Some people that have the HasLab one or have seen it say, it's marvelous, it's amazing, you need to have it, blah, blah, blah. In hindsight, yes, I wish I would have bought 3 and sold 2 off and made like a couple $1,000s profit and gotten the other one for no money out of my pocket. That's what I should have done. But I didn't expect it to be worth like $2,000 after all these years. I didn't expect that. It's a cool big toy, but I'm so happy with this, man. This is my Unicron. That's it, right there. I'm happy with it. One thing I do have to say, though, this, you can't tell it's missing missiles as much because it's clear plastic, where there it's this big old black holes, and it's kind of, well, that's going to be in the robot mode anyway. You're not going to see those holes. I'm not worried about it. Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think about Unicron. Am I just trying to, you know, comfort myself that I didn't get the HasLab by, you know, singing the praises of the TF2010 and the whole Armada mold in general? You be the judge. You be the judge. Me personally, I never even once truly considered getting the HasLab one. It was just so much a league of its own. I feel like it doesn't even fit in with other Transformers toys. It's like, yeah, other Transformers toys, you know, $150, you know, $80, $50, $40. Then here's like this $550 thing. I'm like, what the heck are you? What kind of company do you think you are, Lego? I expect those prices out of a company like that, not Hasbro. Alrighty, I've rambled on long enough. Thank you guys so much for watching. Special shout out to channel members as always. Thank you so much for the continued support. Alrighty guys, have a great one, and I'll see you in the next video. Whew, bye. Towering. I can never say that word right. Towering. Towering. Yes, I know English.